Alright. Doing a severe weather discussion here for the upcoming weekend, I should say. We're at the beginning of this week, but more speaking on this weekend severe weather concerns. Even though we don't know the exact deep details as if it was happening tomorrow or in a few days, but the Storm Prediction Center and I have some pretty good confidence that on Saturday, March 29th or the 30th, there could be some significant severe weather, especially on Sunday. Okay. Right. Alright. Just make sure everything's working. Okay. Alright, so this is a massive, rare, slight risk that the Storm Prediction Center has issued this morning, which includes over 60 million people, which is insane. And this includes the whole state of Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, pretty much all of Arkansas, almost all of Illinois, Ohio, like I said, parts of eastern Texas, and several other areas, and it's looking pretty nasty. But the exact details are not yet set in place, so there's confidence in severe storms, but the intensity and how bad, and if it'll be more tornado or more damaging wind or more hail threat, we do not know yet. And this is for the 29th, a bit smaller area, which includes all Missouri, almost all of Arkansas again, parts of central and eastern Oklahoma, and parts of eastern Kansas, and also the southern tip of Iowa as well. Okay. And I also want to mention Wednesday the 26th. Let me see real quick. Decides to work. No, that's not what I want. Okay, see if I move my webcam down here. Okay, so also do mention real quick on Wednesday, God darn, what day is that? The 26th. Okay. There could be some isolated tornadoes and some damaging winds into parts of Oregon, Washington State, and Idaho, if you can believe that. There will be, I think, a slight risk that will be eventually issued. The Storm Prediction Center did also say that a level 2 slight risk may be issued in later outlooks. So that's a little bit significant. Okay, so let's look at the weather computer models. Okay, so this is the GFS American model for the weather for the United States. And this is valid for Sunday the 30th. Like I said, that I think will be the biggest day. The exact details are not there of how extreme these storms could be, if it'd be more tornado driven, more damaging wind threat, or hail, or so be it. But there's almost in Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Texas, almost 4,000 joules of CAPE for these storms to work with. Now, this is 7 days out. That is extreme amounts of CAPE this far out. This is on the European model and the GFS model, agreeing on significant, strong CAPE values this far out is a bit concerning due to how far out it is and how strong the confidence is. And this is pretty much like food for the storm, so the more the values of the CAPE, of the joules there are, the more extreme these storms could be, because there's more pretty much kind of like food for the storms to work with. And the moisture return is insane. It goes all the way up to Michigan, southern Michigan, which is insane. That's why the National Weather Service has that site risk going all the way up from the southern counties of Michigan all the way down to the Gulf Coast, which is going to be a very insane looking day. And then let's look at the actual radar. It's quite interesting if it decides to work. Okay, so it looks like the storms would be more in the evening, because this is all the junk from the potential severe storms. Oh, hey, Jesse. Welcome to the stream. I just saw your comment. I'm sorry. My bad, bruh. Yeah, I saw the lapse rates too. They're pretty strong for. So yeah, it could be a pretty decent, even though it's still far out. The lapse rates, like you said, I agree. The lapse rates on Weatherbell, the Weatherbell's site does not have it, but on Pivot All Weather does, which I could show that in a minute. So these are the storms from the 29th, and then as time goes by, these storms pop off. And the evolution is unclear, but well, you can't decipher because of how far out it is, and it's a GFS, so that it's not like the HRRR or the 3rd kilometer name where the evolution is obviously you can tell, but the GFS you can't. Okay. So let's look at the wind, the 50 millibar low level winds. So this is Sunday evening, March the 30th. No, you can do soundings, but they're more like current, like observations for the soundings. It's like this is, well, I guess for the different models you can, but it's not like a Pivot All Weather or the other ones where you can like pick a certain area that you want to look at, which I think is cool for Pivot All Weather and the other sites. But other than that, yeah, Jesse, it is pretty cool. I seen some of your videos and your live streams. You seem pretty professional to me. What am I doing? Holy crap. I'm tripping the night. Okay. Oh Lord. Oh, that's why, because I'm looking at the HRRR, not the GFS. My bad. Alright. I appreciate for the subscription, for subscribing. Okay. And also, for the Oregon, the Oregon situation with the marginal threat that the Storm Prediction Center said that they'll have a slight risk soon in the coming outlooks. Might as well look at that, because it's not a lot to say about this coming up system due to, because so far out all you can tell is just if it's not very, can't get the storm, how the storms may look. All you can get is a very limited information. Let me see regions. Oh Lord. Let's do the states. Oregon. There we go. Okay. Yeah, because Oregon could go to 0Z. This, oh crap. Hold up. Let's go to third column now, my bad. For Wednesday. Yeah. Yeah, there could be some few cells in Oregon, which is insane. Especially in March or late March. Or period at all if it happens. This doesn't happen as often. It rarely happens. If it does at all. It's not very impressive, but there are a few little supercellular things. They're isolated, but could be enough. Yeah, look at that. There's a little bit of hmm. It's 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 limited, but there's a little bit there. This is third climate name too. Yeah, the Cape values are pretty high for this, for Oregon and Washington. That's pretty high. This is 3 kilometer NAM. Yeah. Updraft helicity tracks. Wow, there's a few of them. They're actually pretty strong. This is subject to change, obviously. I don't think it's gonna be that intense, but as you can see, there's a few isolated, strong, super cellular storms that could pose a little tornado threat. Let's look at the moisture. Now the moisture might be, this is gonna be an odd thing because the most of the moisture's out near closer to the ocean. But then once the storms get fired up, that's, yeah, these are gonna be some cold core tornadoes because the dew points are about mid 40s. That's pretty cool. But the tornado threat is there. It's isolated. It might be a strong cell like this one, but they'll be pretty isolated in nature for that possible slight risk of the storm prediction center has been discussing. And the Cape values, like I said, are pretty impressive for Oregon, for crying out loud, especially in late March. Like, Oregon doesn't ever get severe weather, hardly. It's pretty rare. But this setup supports a little severe threat. Right. And the actual temperature's gonna be pretty warm too. Like mid 70s in Oregon, that's pretty warm. Well, obviously in the mountains it's gonna be cooler, but it's pretty weak, but it might be just enough there to call. Oh, that, yeah, that's because of that 700 millibar and the 500 millibar. Because this is pretty strong, even though low level isn't, but whatever.